This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so Dwayne, today's focus for this webinar is going over the onboarding process. Stop me anytime if you have any questions or have any additional comments that you want to add to any particular topic that we'll be addressing. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so onboarding, the whole idea of it is to have a strategic system designed to decrease staff turnover by increasing staff engagement. So as previously discussed, we don't want to continue to invest time in people that we don't get a return on because they leave before they're productive, right? Dwayne, you there?
Yes.
Okay. So, a good quote here that I found that I find really profound is you take care of the people take care of the service, and then the service takes care of the profit,
Nice.
then reinvest, right? And so that's how we want to move forward as a company. Our goal is obviously to make money, and we do that because we believe in what we do will really impact our members' lives, and they're willing to pay for it, right?
Right.
And the way that we impact them is through the services, and the services are run by our people. So we need to find good people, train them properly on how to do it, and then give them free reign to deliver that service in a high quality manner. Okay, so how do we do that, right? So there's kind of 4 steps here that I outlined.
Yep.
So just brief overview, establishing the culture, and then creating a timeline for your training, and then actually going through the training and all the steps that are involved. And then ultimately, this is our goal, to map out our trajectory for our new hires, right? Get them to master their role and provide them with autonomy, so that way they feel self-worth and they can do it on their own, right? We all don't want to be micromanaged all the time. We want to be able to kind of be our own entrepreneurs within the system, right? And we do that by having a compass, right? Our compass is our sense of purpose.
Right.
All right. So first thing that we have to do is establish the culture. So what does that mean? That's basically indoctrinating our new hires with our brand and what we do.
Right.
Okay. So first thing to do is describe where we came from, what our objective is, what our goals are, and then where we project to be down the road with their help, right? So provide a sense of collective purpose. So as far as history, I can send you over a worksheet. Are you familiar with our history, Dwayne?
As far as where we started,
Yeah, how we
yes.
started and why we started.
Yep. So you send me that. I have this pulled up now. Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so just real quick, brief summary of it. I'll send you this worksheet here.
Yes.
You're familiar with our founder, right?
Yes, I am, Jordan.
Oh, exactly. So Jordan had this concept back in college in USC as he was going to business school there, because he was always playing, in just random courts. I believe it was in San Diego, and it was difficult to get.
Can you
I'm
hold 1
sorry.
second? Can you hold 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so just going back to the history again, Jordan, is a grad student in USC. He's playing in pickup games, and he just, didn't find that it was fun when playing, but there was a lot of things wrong about it. So he came up with a concept to be a solution to all those problems and challenges that he faced in pickup games. So he was working in the financial sector for a while, and then eventually jumped on this idea and actually made it into a reality. So he rented out a warehouse, put courts in there, and ran pickup games all day, doing the system that we've developed, right? And through that, and focusing on customer service, he was able to generate sales, and continuing to hear back from member feedback. We've then developed our additional services in our group training, private training, installed a full weight room in there, and that's how we became what we are now. So I just think it's pretty cool to have an understanding of where we come from, right? And I think sharing that with everybody, will indoctrinate them in the culture. Okay, so going back to the training guideline and our mission. Our mission is pretty simple: provide our guests a better way to play, right? And that means different things to different people, right? Not everybody comes to our gym for the same reason. Everybody takes a little bit something else out of it. It's a better way to play and work out just in the fitness room, or a better way to play and get training in, or a better way to play in recreational games, right?
Yep.
Everybody has a different takeaway from it. And then in regards to our future, in regards to our future, we just look at our website and we see how we started with one store and one idea years ago, started franchising in 2016, and your store in Chandler being the first of our franchisees, expanding out to now 6 markets across the country. Towson is set for their soft opening this weekend, and then coming very soon, Madison Heights is about to start their pre-opening up in Michigan next week, and Rancho following shortly, with leases on the table about to be signed for Kansas City and Raleigh, North Carolina, and many more other systems in our pipeline about to enter in. Similar to how you have a lot of prospects going into your pipeline about to be members.
Definitely.
Right?
So
Dwayne, you there with me?
Yeah. Did that? So a guy came here a couple months ago, is from Kansas City. That they plan on franchising?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yes, that's correct.
Good.
So they're in lease negotiations and hammering home the finer points, and they should have that signed and be ready to be developing in the next few weeks or so. And this is an ongoing process for all our Zs across our system, right? And we're part of something bigger than ourselves. So what we do contributes to this huge system that is going to hopefully expand rapidly.
For sure.
But it expands rapidly through our efforts. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, they love the club when they came in.
Right. So moving on to the next part of establishing the culture, not only just understanding, the company, but also understanding the people that work within the company, introducing them to the staff hierarchy, right? Introducing them to the hierarchy in your store. Okay, we have Jay Bakta. He's your club owner. My name is Dwayne Vance. Yeah.
Yeah. 1 second. Yep.
Sure.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so just going back to the idea of introducing staff hierarchy, just giving them an idea of who everybody is, introducing them to people so they feel part of the team, right? And then also giving them contacts of who to go to if they have questions, or, who their mentors will be, so they have an understanding of where they can learn from.
Got it.
Cool.
Yep.
And then
Definitely.
next part, establishing the culture, is just offering them or explaining our offerings and our value propositions. Explain what we are to our consumers, the value we are to them, right? Because we don't sell our features, we sell the value that we bring to our customers. And as far as our features are concerned, we have a small, very condensed menu, but we do it really well, or we should. And it's all detailed in our website. We provide pickup basketball with referees, hour-long basketball boot camps, one-on-one basketball training. We obviously have court rentals available. We have a full fitness with weight and cardio rooms, and simple 5-point condensed menu. And then you describe to them what their responsibilities and duties are. Explain their individual purpose in the context of how it contributes to the collective, right? So those job descriptions are listed in our job posting. So if it's a referee, hey, these are your responsibilities here. If it's a general manager that you're looking for, hey, here are your primary responsibilities and what you should expect as far as your time management, right? And then your assistant general manager is right here. Here's your job summary. Your responsibilities are to recruit, hire, train, and develop team members. Prospect relentlessly, right, which is what Tyler's going to be doing. Drive operational results through team accountability. Drive financial results through sound operations. So operations is teaching him what our brand standards are, so you guys can deliver quality service to your members and pass field audits, right? Financial results will come because of operational stability, right? And then this is the time that he'll be spending. Hey, Tyler, you're going to be spending 10% of your shift, reviewing time cards, placing orders, inventory review, and doing social media posts. Another 10% of your time is going to be coaching, developing, our team members and supervising them, and then taking corrective action as necessary through monthly performance reviews, and then implementing a game plan to address areas of weakness. But your primary focus is this. If you do this well, this provides a foundation for you to sell, right? 80% of your shift is that, sales and prospecting, and developing positive member relationships. So working leads, right? Being on the phone, texting, emailing, working the floor, and then guiding people through tours, and ultimately closing deals. That's your job.
Yeah.
Be very clear, be very upfront about it to set expectations right off the bat. So there's no confusion, there's no anxiety, there's no ambiguity. Here's what your job is. Are you good with that? Great. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Once you establish the culture, the next part is organizing a training program type timeline. Set defined expectations to provide clarity and reduce anxiety. So if they don't know when they're going to have to train, or they don't know when you expect them to have mastered a skill, or they don't know when you expect them to produce certain numbers, then they're walking around like a chicken with their head cut off. They're clueless, right? They may have an idea of what they're supposed to do, but they're not walking towards a certain goal. And they don't know where they should be pacing at a certain point. Right. So you need to define that for him and anybody else you onboard, whether it be a referee or Braxton as your assistant manager. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So the first step is the simple stuff, right? Completing the onboarding checklist, doing all the paperwork, right? So you can submit that to them right away. Hey, submit to me your W-4, your I-9, your employee agreement form, whatever else that you need to fulfill as far as paperwork. And then once you have that, then you provide him or her with the prep work material, all the worksheets that they need to study on their own, all the videos on YouTube, the webinars that they need to watch, the field audits that they need to be familiar with. Hey, review this on your own. We're going to go through training to clarify all these items, but I want you to prep yourself by doing individual work on your own. Does that make sense?
It does.
So that way, they're already ahead of the game by the time they get to the first training module. And you're not starting from scratch. And it shows you that they have initiative. Once you provide them with that, then tell them, hey, here's the schedule for all our training modules. So what are the training modules involved? It's in our manager training checklist. Is it possible to be proficient in all these items in one day?
Not at all, man. Not at all, man.
No, it's
Definitely gonna take
not
some
even.
time.
I'm sorry?
It's definitely going to take some time.
Yes, it's not even possible in a week for an assistant general manager. This is probably going to take 2-3 weeks of intensive training to get him to be somewhat proficient at this. And to master it, it's going to take probably 2-3 months, realistically, right? So he's
Yes.
gotten a chance to absorb it, get the reps up, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and be a master at it. If you recall back on how long it took you to feel comfortable, and have it just kind of free-flowing and be instinctive about things, it took a while, right?
Yeah, definitely did, man. For sure
So
did.
it's an investment in time, but if we invest the time in the right person and we indoctrinate them and incorporate them within the culture the right way, oh my goodness, the dividends that we'll get from it are incredible. So create a timeline for all these items. Hey, we're going to work on these 3 items on Tuesday from 2 to 4, right? And then these 3, we'll give you a week to kind of adopt that, and then I'll run a proficiency test to make sure that you know it, and then we'll move on to the next items. So have it in a very organized way.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And then once you have, they've completed a particular training item here, say officiated games. You've taught them everything. You've given them all the worksheets, all the webinars, all the videos, the referee signals that they need to study. You've given them that. Well, how do we know that they've retained that? Dwayne?
How do we know they retained it?
Yeah, how can we measure that they've retained that information?
I say by when we going through role playing. Actually,
well, that's a good way. But for that type of thing, we have our proficiency test that we've developed and have available to you in Franchise Blast.
Hey, Paulo, 1 second, man. 1 second.
Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
So
right about the proficiency test, man.
So you do have access to Franchise Blast and can launch those proficiency tests, right?
Yes, I do.
Use that. It'll make it so much easier because it's very objective. It's clear cut, right? So if you run, let's see, officiated games proficiency test, you get to really see how much of that information they were able to digest. Hey, why do members sign up for officiated games? What does WHD mean? The referee remains slightly behind the ball carrier. Is that true or false?
Yep.
What does SSS stand for? It's all right there. You just take this test, and then you can see where their gaps of knowledge are.
Okay.
And then you coach up on the gaps of knowledge. Wherever they didn't get a passing score, that's where you know they're deficient. Great. Fine. Now we know. I don't care if you make a mistake. I don't care if you fail it. Now, I don't want you to fail it the next time. Study up and get better. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. So, we have our audits for the proficiency test for the officiated games, for the group workouts, training on how to do the whistle signal,
Yep.
all of that. So very simple. That's how we evaluate their proficiency. Clear?
Sir.
Cool. And set those dates in the calendar so they know exactly when you expect them to have studied up all that material. Kind of like in school. It's exactly like school, as a matter of fact, right?
Yep.
They give you the material, and then they tell you, hey, this is when we'll have our quiz. Hey, this is when we'll have our test. And continue to set checkpoints for measurement and evaluation, right? Measure them after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days. And each step, you should see momentum as far as their brand knowledge and their brand execution, right? And
Right.
overall financial report card should continue to trend up as well. So that's what we're looking for in these checkpoints. And then from there, set clear expectations for when you expect them to master what their job is and to start really producing sales numbers if it's a manager or a sales rep, or if it's a referee, you know, having great member feedback about the quality of their referee or the quality of their customer service.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so then the next is just going over the training program, step by step. What's the most effective way to really train somebody and get them to master that position? First, we have to teach them. Explain to them what their duties are, why they're necessary, and how to do it, right? You explain all of it. You don't just tell them, hey, this is what you do. No, you explain to them the reasoning behind why they do it and how it contributes to everybody else's job. So now they feel a sense of community and they're part of the culture. Make sense?
Yes. Yep.
After you teach them, you can't just teach them and hope that they do it right immediately. It takes about 60 reps to master a simple skill, right? And some of the skills that they're learning here aren't as simple. It's complex. So in order to really get good at it, first they need to watch somebody else do it, right? Assign to them somebody to shadow. For Tyler, it's going to be you, right? He's going to have to shadow you to see how you go about your day, to see how you answer phone calls, to see how you respond to web inquiries, to see how you conduct a membership questionnaire, to see how you guide through a tour, to see how you coach up your staff. He needs to see you do it to have a good idea of what he needs to emulate. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
And then after he shadows you through all those processes, role play, especially for sales presentations, for sales calls, for sales presentations. Role play, role play, role play. It's about getting your reps up, right? Because when you initially try to do something, the first few times you're going to make a ton of mistakes because it's awkward. It feels awkward. It's something new. You're not used to it yet. You don't get used to it until you keep doing it and keep doing it and keep getting better. So allow him the opportunity to role play back and forth. Hey, okay, that was great. You're getting better. Let's do this now. Fix this now and try to do it. And then eventually it becomes a habit. Right?
Yep.
Then once he's developed that habit, you evaluate. You measure him, right? And the measurements are, again, in franchise class. So we have evaluations for everything. We have our evaluation for sales. We have our evaluation for the group workout. We have the evaluation for the officiated games. So we have the evaluation for club cleanliness, because ultimately this is what you're going to be graded on in the field audit. And the reason we grade you on these items in the field audits is because this is why members choose our club. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then you continue to coach and nurture them. So whatever you evaluate, you see where they're weak, and then you implement a game plan to improve those weaknesses. And you continue to invest in their improvement. If we're not getting better, we're getting worse.
Okay.
Right? All great employees all great employees, no matter who you are. You could be Michael Jordan, right? He needed Phil Jackson. All great employees require great managers. Continue to develop the relationship to collectively reach objectives. We're all headed towards the same goal. It's easier if we do it together. Right?
Yes.
I mean, most people join companies, join for the company itself. They stay because of the people that's inside of those companies.
Exactly. Yep.
And it's up to us to create that culture.
Okay.
And again, going back to this idea of mastery, you know, that's the goal of this whole onboarding program, to get them to master their role. So eventually they can do it on their own and you don't have to micromanage them. Because what does that provide you? It gives you your time back.
Exactly.
And then you can do your job really well. And then you can make even more money. Because you can just focus on doing Dwayne things. Right?
Right.
And again, the whole outlying purpose is to provide members with a better way to play. So that's our compass. If we stay focused on our members, they'll take care of us.
Right.
So that's the whole onboarding strategy here.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
Nope. With all these, can you definitely forward me these?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as evaluation sheets, we have a few. So this is a referee performance review. You know, it's always good to have periodic reviews of performance. Yes.
Oh, 1 second, man.
Yeah.
This conference will now be recorded.
So take advantage of the evaluation sheets and the performance reviews and do it periodically. Right? Monthly reviews is what I suggest. So this is the template for the referee performance review. We have another template for any employee. It goes over their general work habits, their work interest and drive, their job knowledge, and their customer service. So this is a performance evaluation that you can take advantage of on a monthly basis for all your employees to make sure you're headed in the same direction.
Okay, nice.
Cool. And now, as with any of these are all templates. It's not necessarily brand standards that you need to abide by, right?
Okay.
And follow step by step. I suggest that you customize it, you know, collaborate with Jay, customize it to fit into your purposes, to align with your goals. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Awesome. So, I mean, that's all I got on my end as far as onboarding insight. Any questions or comments?
Oh no, man, that's definitely very helpful. It's very helpful. It's just, you know, basically just following the steps for each person who is coming on to my team. You know, following the steps, getting them to mastery level, I should say.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're here to help. So let me know.
Okay, definitely, man. Yeah, Paulo, if you could definitely forward me all these spreadsheets.
I'll forward you all this information. Of course. Yeah, all these worksheets that we went over for reference, I'll send it over to you shortly.
Okay, thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, Dwayne.
Yeah,
Good
man.
luck.
I'll keep you up to date with the onboarding process with Tyler.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And just fill me on where I can help or where we can help.
Sounds good, man.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
All right, Dwayne. Appreciate
All
you,
right.
brother.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Bye-bye.